Welcome back, guys. This is module 3.3, qualifying every seller in 4 questions. This is one that adds on to the script part, and it's of qualifying every seller in 4 questions. In today's competitive real estate market, knowing which seller to pursue can make the difference between wasting time and a profitable deal. The presentation will show you how to quickly identify motivated sellers using just 4 simple questions. With this, it's an extra key tool that you guys can use and add on to the 4 steps of the basic outline in Seller Script. Why sellers' qualifications matter. Not every conversation is a lead. When you guys cold call in real estate, or you get people coming into you from outbound leads and they're coming inbound to you, not every conversation you guys are going to have is going to be a lead. Qualification helps you distinguish between curious homeowners that are wanting an offer to seeing how much they can get, and they're more of a cold homeowner and not that much of a serious cold homeowner, compared to a seller that is selling their house and wanting to sell it and needs to sell it in the next month. But without proper screening, you'll waste precious time on deals that will never close. If you waste too much time on those type of people, your deals will never close because they're not really interested, but they just want to get an offer to see how much you're going to offer them. And 4 questions is pretty much all you need. A streamlined qualification process using just 4 targeted questions gives you all the information required to analyze the deal, analyze the homeowner, analyze their motivation, and get them going on the deal process and getting your first 10 to 30K on your deal. But it's all about informed decisions in pursuing a seller that is interested and not just wasting your time and being a cold seller and not a hot lead. Save hours of your time. A lot of people in wholesaling real estate try and put so much effort into little things that don't really matter. They need to focus on the main key topic that is really going on here, and it's getting the seller to sell their house for a discounted price and helping them out if they were foreclosed on, if, let's say, their water shut off, electricity shut off, they need to move an inherited property. But with that, by quickly filtering out low probability leads, you can focus on your energy on high value opportunities with motivated sellers who are ready to make a deal. With this, and they're ready to make a deal, you save hours of your time going through leads that are unqualified to leads that are qualified that can really get you your first deal. And implementing this system can dramatically increase your efficiency and conversion rate while reducing frustration and dead-end leads. And if you guys keep scaling up, you'll need to teach this to your VAs or virtual assistants if you have them, or your assistants in general, because if they waste all their time on leads that aren't really going to work, instead of leads that are way hotter that you can get way quicker, then you're just not going to get many leads in your pipeline and you're not going to get that many deals done. The 4 essential qualification questions. These are an outline of 4 major questions that you need to ask in pretty much every conversation and call that you're in with the homeowner or the seller. Timeline. When would you ideally like to sell or move? This is a major one I talked about in 3.2 also in the other modules, but a timeline is a major one you just need to understand. You can take notes on REI Simpli and write it down below the property, or take notes on paper or any of your CRM trackers that you use. And why it matters is urgency equals leverage. Sellers who need to move quickly are more likely to accept investor terms. If you're needing to move quickly, you're more likely to not analyze every single little aspect of the deal and then just focus on the investor's terms and be like, okay, I'll just accept them now. But if you have all the time in the world and are trying to get the exact amount and the best deal, it's going to take a long time. Now to number 2 for price. Do you have a number in mind that you feel good about? With this, it gives them to think about an idea or a number that they're really feeling good about, and that you can know where they are at on their standpoint. And maybe it's too high and you need to use your motivation to help them lower it. That's a good tactic. But just with the price, it just equals them and leverages them to a point that you know. And now you can use tactics with finding motivation and getting the condition, and then using that motivation kind of against them to lower their price and get a good deal on it, and then wholesale it to an investor. Condition. If you were to buy it, what kinds of repairs or updates would it need? With this, it helps the price point because if it needs a lot of repairs, it helps the price point come from here down to here because it needs repairs. Because if it's brand new and doesn't need repairs, the price increases. But it's not brand new and it's lower, then the price decreases. And that's where the condition comes in. And so uncovering hidden costs and tests the seller honestly about the property issues really comes in handy on figuring out what the condition and how it correlates with the price. Motivation. Why are you thinking about selling now instead of waiting? With this, it comes in and realizes the seller's like, why am I selling now and not waiting? Maybe it's, oh, I inherited the property, need to sell it and don't want to manage it. Or it's the water shut off, the taxes are too high, and it's getting foreclosed by the banks. Okay, that's a really good one too. But revealing the truth is why it matters. Because when you reveal that truth, it really puts the seller like, oh, this is a situation I'm in, and I kind of need to get out of it. And by doing this, it's driving force behind their decision to sell. And their decision to sell is a reason you can make a profit off this wholesale deal because they need to sell it kind of quick. Decoding sellers' responses. This is a major part of acquisitions and dispositions, of understanding the seller and how they respond. But some green light signals and some 3 main things we go by on analyzing deals and conversations. First is green light signals. They need to sell within 30 to 60 days. They're flexible on the price and focus on the solution and not just getting the maximum offer or the MAO. Openly admit the property needs work. Some sellers try to hide it, but you'll have an inspection period, so it pretty much gets uncovered either way. So I don't know why they do that, but they think they're hiding something so they can get more money. But when the inspection period comes and you have someone walk through it, you'll find all this out. And so if you lock it up, you might need to change the price, and that's a big one I see a lot. Urgent, motivation, clear, like a job transfer, foreclosure, or inheritance. This is a green light signal for you guys because it understands and shows you that the property is under distress in some way and it needs to sell soon. Retail seller warning signs. They're just testing the markets. Just testing the markets is they're just seeing what price they can possibly get for what they're selling. Also, firm on price above market value. If they're firm on the price above market value, they're a cold lead because they're not really understanding the situation the real estate market is in, and they're trying to get the most amount for no reason. Claims the house is in perfect condition. This is a big one a lot of sellers I see do, but you have pictures, inspections, so you'll be able to determine what condition the house is in. And so that's why it's a retail seller sign, because some retail properties, people try to lie to get the most amount of property because that's what humans do. No clear timeline or motivation. They're not looking to really sell in any clear future, and they don't have any motion behind their decision to sell. So you can't really use motivation, and they don't have motivation to sell to you or any other investors unless they pay you their golden amount of, let's say, the maximum offer you could possibly get and make zero money on the deal and probably lose money. Emotional temperature check. The more emotion and urgency you detect in their response, the higher probability of workable deal that you'll have. And you can listen for stress, relief when discussing quick sales or language suggestions that are overwhelmed. With this, the language suggestions, you can see if they're overwhelmed on how they respond to you. And with all these cues, you can slowly understand who they are and how they respond to you, and the kind of the sales aspects in acquisition and the disposition side that really show what their emotional temperature is and how if they're like really aggressive, if they're calm, if they're sad. You'll be able to tell these out as long as you call and get leads coming in and figuring out their motivation. Implementing your qualification systems. Memorize the questions. You'll slowly, as you do these call scripts, you'll memorize what questions to ask because you'll know which ways are the working best for you in the sequences that are working best for you based off the outline script. But practice until these 4 questions become second nature. Use them consistently with every potential seller, whether you're on the phone or in person. In-person wholesaling is also really good also because you connect in person and really truly understand that person, and that can separate you from other people. But memorizing the questions of finding motivation, their timeline, why they want to sell, and just what is really backing them to sell, like their situation, really helps. And with memorizing these questions and knowing them in the future, your calls come from here all the way up to here. Document everything. Record answers in your CRM or lead tracking system on REI Simplified that we'll be using, and you'll pay special attention to motivation notes, as these often reveal deal potential over time. If you slowly add on over and over and over and over again on your deal trackers and CRMs that are really helpful in this real estate wholesaling business, you'll be able to tell which deal is the best deal for you and be able to find, oh, this deal is getting better and better and better because there's more motivation, and you might be able to get more of a split from those. As if some person's not really building motivation and you can't find it, it might not be the greatest deal. But maybe down the road you find the motivation and now you've clicked it and you're like, oh, I can get this deal under contract. Applying the 3-4 rule. If a seller gives a favorable answer to at least 3 of the 4 questions, proceed with an offer. Otherwise, categorize them as a follow-up or a next meeting or a move on. If they don't meet 3 of the 4 criteria, there's probably better deals out there and opportunities that you guys can get compared to other people that are just going to keep hammering that person over and over and over again, and they're going to separate them away from them and not really have them wanting to sell. So if they match 3 of the 4, I would pursue them pretty good and get an offer sent out to them, follow-ups and all that. But if they only reach like 1 of the 4, you can send them into a long-term follow-up or ask them what their true motivation is and get them to hit more of the categories and organize them. In REI Simplified, the CRM that we use, and we'll give you guys a 14-day free trial on, it will be color-coded in the system in your leads tools. So you'll have like green for hot leads, or red for hot leads, yellow for follow-up, and red for retail sellers, or white for off market. It will be, you can customize it to yourself, but it will already be customized and set up for you guys to make it 100% easier. The next steps for qualifications to closing. Here's a good quote I go by. The right questions reveal the right opportunities. When you ask the right questions that we're giving you guys to these sellers, they will reveal the right opportunities that you need to chase and that you can hunt down. In quality over quantity, you guys can, like I said in earlier modules, you can call 10,000 people and have 2 of them being really good opportunities. But if you have 10,000 and you analyze which ones are the good ones, you really narrow in on them, they can reveal the right opportunities and why they're wanting to sell and how to get your first deal. In quality over quantity, don't chase every lead. A disciplined approach of filtering fast and following up strategically will yield more closing with less effort. Like I said, you need to be smart about this. You're a real estate investor and you need to analyze a lot of things. You need to analyze a lot of things, but you need to have quality over quantity. Quantity can be good, but the quality is also way more important at the time. Consistent application. The qualification system only works when used consistently. Make it a non-negotiable part of your investor toolkit for every potential deal. You need to have consistent application or consistent process of the same thing over and over and over again, or you will not get better. It's just like running or playing a sport. If you don't do it pretty much every single day, you're not going to get better. But if you do it too much, you're going to burn yourself out and you're just going to crash on yourself. So you need to slowly step it up and consistently improve instead of just going all the way, then nothing the next week. All the way, nothing the next week. Because steady, small steps are so much greater than putting all your effort in for one day and then lacking off another day. But preparing for objections. In our next module, you'll learn how to handle seller objections effectively so you can maintain confidence while facing pursuit. When you're handling objections, you do not need to be scared. You're just someone calling in, asking about questions about the house, looking to shoot them over an offer. So when you're prepared for these objections and you have ideas that are really good that you can rebuttal with, that is a major part in just seller objections and being confident like we've been talking about, and having the good tone instead of being blah, 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 and being more upright and approachable and sounding more positive to the sellers so you can connect on a better level. Now we'll be going into module 3.4. I'll see you guys there.